people noise, circumstance noise. I found myself many times today just stopping, sitting and closing my eyes in my car, parked on the side of a busy street. Stop, drop, and meditate. And what I always notice in the quiet times is that there is an immense amount of connection within that quiet. It's actually in the periphery, when you are amidst all of the noise, that there is this concept of loneliness or aloneness, even if you are engaged in so many relationships. But it's when you become very quiet and just sitting that you are fully satisfied, which in a sense is the ultimate form of relationship, one with oneself. Which then translates into full amusement as you go back out into the world, because you are amused by yourself. You're your own best friend. See, you think that you are hilarious. I mean, I'm constantly laughing these days at myself. It's like, this is a good one. And nobody even needs to get your joke. That's the funny thing. You got it. So what I came in here to talk about was to ask you a question. And that question is, what is it that you want? So what is it that you want? And to ask that question is actually quite important, because to ask the question is to connect to the reality that there is something that you want. And many times there's somewhere along the way where we get influenced by this concept of not wanting anything. So continuously we're attempting to relinquish ourselves of this want, but it just won't go away. So instead of continuously pushing it away, why not just accept it as being a part of your process? Because that's what it is a part of the process. So what is it then truly that you want? Not the noise component of that particular experience and expression, but the quiet aspect of it, the realness, the real relationship with it. What is it that you want? And if we can receive that from our experience of life, then we satiate that thirst. So call it a karmic thirst, or a dharmic calling. We don't even have to categorize it as being correct or incorrect. It just is. But because it's coming from the quiet place, the most spacious part of your being, then it is truth. Which then allows you the ability to rest into your life without conflict. And to gain that ability to rest is then to begin to cultivate and hone the ability of meditation, or the ability that exists within the meditative mind. Because there is a unique ability that is there. So every human being has that same ability, but some exercise it and some don't. And the ability is developed through concentration and focus, softness of concentration, softness of focus. The ability to see the whole picture as it is, and then allow what is to be next to arise. So without forcing, but also without resisting. And that is the art of living. So what's coming towards us, what we're going through must be that. So no matter how hard we attempt to paddle one way or another, the river is taking us straight there. So to experience it, eyes wide open, fully conscious, is the ability that a person who's cultivating a meditation practice has. Because life becomes unbiased. We're not swaying one way or the other. We're just simply moving. And as we satiate that which needs to be, so the true want, as pure experience, rather than what someone is telling us is right or wrong, then we ourselves, you yourself, becomes the wise one, who truly knows through their direct experience and understanding. What it is that they want from this experience we call life. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Yes, sir.
I guess when you said, what is it that you want? I had a bit of a conundrum because I guess what I want is not to want, or I want to be content. So it's more of a comment than a question.
Yeah, can you say that again? That's good. It's very good. So say it again in the microphone.
I guess when you asked, what is it that you want, I had a bit of a conundrum because my response kind of intuitively was not to want, or I want contentment.
Yeah.
So.
And that is exactly it. So it could be seen as a conundrum, but it could be seen as that is what you want, is to become content and no longer have the thirst for this want. So the thirst, how do we then quench the thirst? Is it through denying yourself of specifics? Is it through satiating yourself with specifics? And that's the question that goes again back to the individual, back to you. So how is it that you then develop the relationship with the feeling, with the thought, with the emotion of this want? What is it even? So if we can narrow that scope to being content, then what is then creating your content within your life? Contentment, what is that in your life? And the more you develop that relationship and create an avenue, well then all of life begins to focus its concentration on that direction. You see? So then you are achieving that. It's good. What else? Yes. Yeah.
Could you clarify the distinction between karmic and dharmic calling?
Mm-hmm. I can. That's a really good question. Karma has many, many layers to it. And there's eons worth of discussion around it. But some of the more simple ways of explaining it is that your particular experiences that you are having are based upon a relationship that you are in with a stream of life. So life that stretches back and life that reaches forward. And you are landing right here and now in this present moment of that stream. So the particular predicaments, blessings, enjoyments, unenjoyments that you have could be considered the karma, the karmic relationship. Your task that you do, your duties that you are connected to could all be considered karmic relationship. That which you are attracted to, that which you are repelled from. The Dharma is considered to be the path, so the larger scope of it, the path that you're on. And your karma is now related to the Dharma, so your individual experience on that path would be the karmic relationship. And how you then stay on that path is the dharmic calling. So your response to your moment in life then creates a chain event that then expands far beyond you. So if you say something to me and then it continues on, all for the sake of this dharma, the path, the broad stroke. Does this make sense? Which then can be brought back from the broadest stroke to the individual experience. And then an even more specific individual experience would be this concept of samskara. So the particular condition, the particular suffering. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Any other comments or questions around that? Yes.
Is that close enough? What can we do to kind of unravel the samskaras, to kind of position ourselves to really take on our dharmic path? And maybe if you could speak a little bit about how we can sharpen our ability to discern what that true voice is within us versus all of our wants and maybe like everything else we hear.
Mm-hmm. Well, it comes down to really asking the question, what is it that you want? So I want to be clear that this word should not be seen as a negative. Let's take it into the positive. And when you start to ask yourself that question, just like asking yourself, who am I in relationship to my environment, you start to get deeper into the understanding of what is the truth. And as you are distinguishing the voice, so you have a particular voice, a particular sensation, sound, sight, taste, even if you look closely enough, that is your authentic voice. The true voice, not the noise. And as we begin to develop a relationship with that truth of what it is that you want from this life, then we begin to cultivate a practice around it. So that practice is your personal practice, which means there's specific things that you should eat, specific things that you shouldn't eat, that is for you. Specific things that you should say, specific things that you shouldn't say, that is for you. Specific exercises that you should do and some that you should not do that are specific to you. See what I mean? So that is the rigor around the mental space that you're attempting to maintain. And once you become really buoyant and good at maintaining that, then you can go off and do whatever you like for a while. But up until that point, it's much, much more conducive to be have restraints, I should say, on where you go with yourself in this life experience. So those particular parameters that you set for yourself, with some guidance, because some outside guidance is good. So a yoga practice, a meditation is outside guidance. The individual begins to become more attuned to this concept of the dharmic path that way, because life becomes cleaned up. So many times we tend to do things that we say, I just don't really want to be doing this. But it's legitimately coming from a deep inside place. You ask the question, should I, shouldn't I? It says, no, I don't think you should. But then that side of you that is so conditioned goes, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to do it anyways. So that is the part that we want to put to rest, or to bring to the level of understanding that this deeper component of us has. The very quiet, soft one that is always right, that says, you should go this way, and we choose to go the opposite way than what the truth tells us to do. See what I mean? So in this cleansing, now it's a very deep cleansing that occurs. That's a deep, deep cleansing. So we eat specific things, which is cleansing the body. We think particular ways, which cleanse the mind and the emotions. But now this is even deeper cleansing than that. And you must maintain it. So that's why the wisdom tradition is considered to be a discipline. Because you must be disciplined. Without discipline, then it's just a free-for-all. And that free-for-all is actually a technique. You can do a free-for-all. But do you have the wherewithal to do the free-for-all? I know, it's funny like that. It's open, but very specific. Do whatever you want, but do it exactly like this. That's what life says. Do whatever you want, but you have to do it exactly like this. Have you noticed that? I've noticed that many times. Yes.
I think you addressed partially my question in answering Craig's, but mine was, what about in the case that what you want you don't get? And how long do you hold on to that? Because I think I'm drawn to the idea of non-attachment because I'm afraid of not getting what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of just not wanting anything appeals.
Mm-hmm.
But I see value in listening to the things that you want. But how long do you hold on to those things?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you want my opinion, you shouldn't hold on to them at all. But you should maintain relationship with that. It's an energy. If it's not just an image or a thought, it's not just an emotion, it's not just words put together in order to say this is it. But it's an energetic vibration. So you can think of it as a part of you, or a part of consciousness that is present. So to feel that it is possible, and I'm working towards that, whatever it may be, without any attachment to an outcome, other than you know that every single step that you take towards it is absolutely a step towards it. This is, in a sense, karma yoga. So this is the yoga of action, of doing, of working with it. And the reason why I frame it like that is because that which you want is much deeper than what it first appears to be. So we have to realize that we have a physical experience, an energetic experience, a mental experience, an intelligent level. So this is a Vigyan Maya Kosha. So it's very subtle. And then we have this bliss level experience. So these are all depths that has that same physical expression, but then it becomes increasingly more subtle. So what is represented into the physical, if it is the truth of that which you want, has a representation all the way through. And as you go deeper through that representation, the physical expression of it begins to change, because you're getting closer and closer to the truth of what it is. Do you see what I mean? But the mind is designed to focus. The mind is designed to be concentrated. The mind is designed to be trained. It wants freedom through parameters. This is where we're going. But in an open, soft, but direct way. And if we can trust that it's okay to have this feeling of want at the stage of development that you're in, then we'll actually be satiating the tie that's there. We don't need to starve it to death. We must nurture it into good health. That's the thing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your mind. There's nothing wrong with any of the feelings that you have. It just needs nutrition, so that then it can go to rest. And for some, that does mean deep fasting. And for others, it does mean actually getting what you want. It is a great out to say, oh, I'm non-attached, so therefore I don't get what I want. But that only floats for so long. And then it turns into resentment. It turns into a bit of bitterness. So Pattabhi Jois used to say, if you attempt to take on the practice of brahmachari, which is abstaining, too early, then you'll go crazy, and then you are ahimsa. So you're not following that path of nonviolence, which is the first one that you should really develop. So he said, just why not enjoy yourself? One day you will want to take brahmachari, but it's from a place of wanting it, not from a place of forcing it. I mean, you're all wholesome people, so what is it that is connecting you to a place of celebration, right? You're here. You made it this far. This is called a journey. So you've made it this far, now why not celebrate that, But I'll tell you that as you begin to explore it, the depth will change everything. What you thought first is not what you know now as being what it is that you want from this life. And if it is liberation, if it is enlightenment, then perfect. If it is to have a beautiful family, well then perfect. If it is to have the dream job, well then perfect. Because these are all modalities of the human experience which are encased from the inside out as a spiritual experience. So no matter what you do or what you say or how you hear it, it's a spiritual experience. There's no on-off switch. It has been broken for an eternity. It's on. It's just eyes closed or eyes open for the process. Maybe would you mind turning the air off for a little? Any other comments, questions? Okay, let's close our eyes. And today there'll be no singing bowl, just quiet connection to stillness. And let's see how quiet we can make our mind. Allow the mind to be reflective from that deepest place inside of you. Keeping the eyes closed, bring full deep breaths into the body. Bring your gaze into the space just there in front of you. And with soft but very pointed concentration, see exactly where you're going. Trust that what you see is the truth for now. And commit to your path. Keeping the eyes closed, soften the gaze. And very slowly, without rushing, allow the eyes to open. And now we'll just take the next few moments just to slowly come from our meditation. It's that quiet place where all your answers are. Every single one that you have comes from that quality of space that's very, very quiet. And then what manifests from that dynamic expression of stillness within the space, which is enveloped by the quiet, is life. That's the reality of your life, comes from that place. Really, everything around us, all around us, from nothing is something. Nothing, something, nothing, something. You walk away from this room, for you, this room no longer exists. It's nothing. Then again, it's something. So continuously throughout the day, from nothing to something, nothing to something, nothing to something, manifesting out of this beautiful expression of stillness. That stillness is all of the areas of your mind that is not yet occupied by a thought, by a mental landscape. Raw potential waiting to happen. So if we can get to know this raw potential and begin to align with it, like on a soul level, align with that as being a part of you, not separate from you, but a part of your integrity, a part of your movement, a part of your breath, a part of your thought, a part of your emotion, a part of your personality, with a discipline within yourself that you are committing to aligning to that which you truly want from this experience. That expressive dynamic will then begin to manifest exactly that. Exactly that which you wish to come to fruition, which has ties to your karma, to your samskara, and to your dharmic path. There's ties there. But if you can, at the very least, feel on a very deep level that you're going the right way, that you've made that intention and you're moving towards the deepest component of that which you want to manifest, then you can surrender all of your effort into the process. That truly every breath you take, every word that comes out of your mouth, every thought, every emotion, all of your personality and animation is focused and concentrated upon the outcome of that. And you are just increasing your ability to express it, becoming highly skilled at just going with the flow. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Enjoy the rest of your evening.